back. Retirement planning often leaving people feeling overwhelmed, not in control of their money. My next guest says there are still 5 retirement mistakes that people are still making. Joining me right now is Senior Managing Director of State Street, Head of Defined Contribution, Fredrik Axsater. Good to see you, Fredrik. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, I mean, it's really a horrible situation when you look at how much money people have in retirement, right? They just don't have enough.
That's exactly right. So EBRI, a research organization, estimates that we have a $4 trillion shortfall today in terms of retirement savings. We need to do more.
Part of the problem is people don't do enough. In other words, they're not like, so let's go through some of the mistakes so people know what to avoid. They don't start soon enough.
That's exactly right. I can't stress enough just how important that is. So let's just take let's have an example of 2 investors. One investor, Maria, does everything right. Does everything right, joins the workforce, starts saving right away at, let's say, age 25. And then the other investor, let's call him Sven, starts to save later at age 37. Well, it turns out that Sven, in this example, needs to save at twice the rate as Maria in order to have the same nest egg and the same income in retirement.
Yeah, I did start saving, actually. For first job, I went and I did the 401k. Why would you say no to a company that wants to give you a 401k and match your money that you're saving?
I totally agree.
That's free money.
And most investors say that too. And 80% of employees say that saving for retirement is important. We just need to make it a little bit easier.
So the second mistake is they're not contributing enough to the 401k plan.
It just takes more to safely retire today than it used to. We have lower expected returns for equities, lower yields, greater longevity as well. We estimate that today's investors, given those 3 factors, they need to save about half more than investors in the past, even 10 years ago.
Part of the issue, though, is this stuff can get confusing. People don't know what to allocate where, and then, as a result, they're not investing right. That's the third mistake.
That's right. So a lot of the new investments, at least for retirement plans or defined contribution plans like 401ks, they're allocated in well-diversified, age-appropriate funds like target date funds. But a lot of the legacy holdings are in, let's say, single company stock investments or in stable value. And, you know, for stable value, it may seem like a safe investment, but it doesn't generate the same return as a target date fund. In fact, we estimate
So you like target date funds?
I do like target date funds.
Is this a fund that is going to become more conservative as you approach the date that you're saying you want to retire?
Yeah, 70% of investors say they want something that does it for me.
Right.
And
that's why. So if you're going to just put some money away and forget about it, get a target date fund. That's right. Not making the right decision about when to save and when to retire, another mistake.
I think this is a good example of when time is not always on our side. And at times of graduation now, and let's be clear for young investors, when they join the workforce, start saving now. And then also on the other side,
don't wait.
Don't wait.
There's nothing to wait for.
That's right. And then on the other side of the spectrum, for people that are older in retirement, I think it's important to make those financial decisions in your 50s and 60s. It does not make sense to wait until your 80s or 90s to make sometimes complex financial decisions when it's just harder at that point in time.
So you're saying in your 50s and 60s you should say, okay, I'm X number of years away from retirement. I want to make my portfolio a little more conservative or a little more risky, whatever you want to do.
Yes, okay. and this brings us also to the last point of
not having the right investments.
That's right. So we have run a series of focus groups, and what we find is when people are trying to project what their needs are in retirement in, let's say, age 70, 75, 80, that when you get to age 80, it's just very difficult to imagine what that will be like. So you can see that the discomfort in the room, the folded arms, the nervous laughter, the jokes about...
So when you're 80, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to take your retirement money and spend it on yourself, or just keep it in the bank and leave it to your kids?
I think you need to make a decision around retirement to also have, let's say, a deferred annuity or something that provides a safe, guaranteed amount of money for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I always tell my parents, spend the money on you.
Yep.
What are you saving it for when you're 80?
That's right.
But you have to have a good schedule in order to know how much money comes your way and how to allocate it.
That's right, and make those decisions early.
Really great advice, Fredrik. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Fredrik Axsater from State Street.